Alright, so today we're going to be doing tire repair on the toolbar here. We got a flat right there to fix. I also have one of my seed pockets plugging up on the drill back here. There it is. So we'll have to repair that, probably take that tube off right there. Unless it's plugged further down. It looks open at the bottom. So we'll be doing that. But right now, working on the 1992 Dodge Dakota. It's getting warmer. And this truck has a special order engine. It's 180 horsepower, but it's 280 foot-pounds of torque. So I want to do everything I can to take care of it and make sure it doesn't overheat. Okay, new hose top and bottom. Still got the labels on them. Engines, I don't know, maybe a couple years old, low miles. So one good thing about having multiple vehicles is you don't have to drive them, you know, till they blow up. Although I do that sometimes too, I guess. But anyway, so I took this thermostat out. I put in a new gasket on the new one. This bracket will go back in. Right there. And then to put the bolts in, everybody always says, I want to know how you did it. Well, I put grease in there so the bolt would stick in there. And then I was able to put it in and start it. And before that, I had to gently work it down in there. And then you have to hold this hose out of the way too when you take them out. Or to even, I got it in there without it, but to get this out, that's how I did it at first. But putting it back in, I just gently worked it in there because you don't want to mess up the gasket. It sticks on the bottom to the water neck, which I replaced the water neck when I put in the new engine because it was rusty looking. And kind of, some of it was gone actually. So if you've had your truck a long time, you might want to take a look at that, especially if you have trouble with it getting hot. The big thing I've noticed about vehicles is when you try to use that AC, especially on this truck, it's got a deal where you can just shut it off till you only recirculate the air. It does make your AC work a lot better, but you're taking away a lot of cooling power from the engine, so it can't, you know, circulate air through your heater core, because the heater core and the air conditioning unit are together in this vehicle. So if you take away that source of air from it, that's a bad thing, because you think about how AC works. It takes the hot air out of your interior. So if you recirculate it inside, you're recirculating hot air also. It makes it harder for it to escape. It makes your engine get warmer through the heater core, because you're circulating, remember, from your water pump. There's one of them. This is probably the end, probably shoots it in through that one and returns it through this one. This one here going back to the pump. Well, it must be the one coming out of the pump where it okay, common sense, excuse me. It comes out of the pump right there on the lower hose and goes in, and then it returns back into the top of the intake. I believe anyway. Although it, yeah, either way you look at it, it circulates no matter which way it goes, from one end to the other. And if you take away that air circulating in the interior of the truck, it makes a difference. The heater core is actually a pretty big unit. It's almost, I've had to unfortunately replace it, and it's almost about half as big as your radiator. So if you reduce the efficiency of that unit, you're heating up your engine considerably. So a lot of times what I usually do with the truck is I'll run the AC but not on the recirculate position and just crack the windows. But you know, people like to feel the extra coolness, and even I myself like that. But you know, especially when you have a passenger, you might want to impress her with how, you know, awesome it is to ride in your truck. So that's how you do that, to make it a little easier. Think about it here, all right? With this in, and even with it open, you're restricting the coolant flow by at least 50%. So you're only getting 50% of your coolant heating ability. You're taking away 50% of the coolant's ability to cool off your engine, even with that in the open position. So when you take it out, you're increasing it by at least twice as much the cooling capacity. You're going to be able to flow twice as much coolant through there as you can with it in. Now I don't know how much traveling you've done in hot weather, but unless you want to join those folks that overheated their vehicle on the side of the freeway, this is a good idea. Very good idea. Alright, this is John Rudy with Rudy Racing, signing off.